r/2 sentence horror. Posted by u/Hansi_B0I 3 days ago. They only reworked Pluck. Can't be that bad, I said to myself. That was when I realized Paragon had made the tier list! Since Update 1.3 dropped, absolute chaos has broken out in the YBA community. Everywhere you look, everywhere you turn, people won't shut up about the update that ruined their life. People treat it like it was some sort of goddamn recession. You know how when the stock market takes a plunge and all of a sudden stock traders are shooting themselves in the streets, nothing to eat at all, nothing to feed their families? Take that serious situation from a real life, functional economy, and now scale it down 100 times with the MS Paint tool, and take the actual professional day traders and turn them into wannabe dimwit preteens. There you have it, the reaction to Update 1.3 and the tier list revamp that followed. I wouldn't be surprised if one of these fuckers straight up hung themselves because all that high A, low S tiers they were gonna trade for Jack-Off Platinum, Come World Alternate Universe, Cummy Act 4, Come Crimson Requiem, and Big Black Jur were all dropped down to C tiers. But it seems like people are devastated over this. And you know what? As I'm famous for doing when the management falls short, I'm here for you, Joes, to give you the full, unbridled truth. Who cares if tier lists are a figment of your imagination and you don't have to be fucking told what stands you like and don't like? Hey, if you want to contribute a little to my pockets and watch some ads from me, I'll tell you what stands to like for you. Because who better to make the tier list that dictates thousands of Joes if not the man who despises hardcore trading with a passion and has never seriously traded any sort of skins in his entire lifetime. Let's get started, Joes. Hey there, champ! Have you lost the color in your YBA play sessions? Are you stuck working the 9 to 5 on the stands only channel in the YBA Discord server, searching ruthlessly for a W trade, but never, ever finding the fulfillment you wanted? Look no further. Boy, do I have the pyramid scheme. Boy, do I have the gang for you. Join the Stardust Sheriffs, young man. Serve your country with YBA pride as you systematically massacre all our opponents with a 100% success rate, whether in SBR, in a gang war, whenever, wherever. All you have to do is join the Discord server down below and buy the official Stardust Sheriff shirt. Only 1,500 Robux for a limited time. Buy my merch, 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 buy my merch. Don't get me wrong, this isn't one of them low-effort shitposts where I end up putting a stupid skin in S tier and everything else in F tier, and this isn't going to be based on my opinion either, since, you know, I couldn't fucking care less! My goal today is to craft together the fairest tier list known to man. And of course, it will have its critics, but I need it to appeal to as many people as humanly possible, so that I may unite the community under my fierce leadership. Which means it needs to be as accurate as humanly possible. And of course, there's your first problem. How in the world do you conjure up a measurement for accuracy when all of this is opinion-based? And that's the thing, you don't! To put it simply, this tier list won't have any sort of demand built into it, with a few exceptions where needed. What I want is a tier list that ranks completely and totally accurately the effort and labor it takes to gain a skin. At first, you'd think to measure that by rarity, right? Calculate the precise percentages of all of the rarities of all of the skins, put them in a list from lowest to highest chance, boom, done, pack it up, go back to getting bitches. Of course, however, this does not account for one critical flaw: evolution skins. Heaven's Act 4 is pretty similar in rarity to R63 The World AU, except for the fact that, you know, the power of the infinite rotation takes significantly more time to obtain than Walmart The World. So here's this, Joes. All you need to do is calculate the average time it would take to obtain these stands by normal means, and rank them all on a list. This can be easily done by just calculating the rarities, then multiplying those rarities by the average time it takes to obtain that stand. For arrow stands, all you need is an arrow and a roca to have a chance at obtaining an arrow skin, so all you have to do is find the average amount of time it takes to find a roca, find an arrow, and use them both. Which I did! Credit to Viotiner for the MIH, kind of rocaed mine, so I needed it. Was recording this on a Monday, so I didn't have double item spawns. To account for that, I'll be multiplying my average time by 0.75, since most people do their item grinding during the weekend anyways. The results will shock you. I'll be honest, I wasn't gonna do all the averaging and data whatever and just go with a rough estimate of like 2 minutes and 30 seconds, because not only am I not a fucking nerd, but I'm also really fucking lazy. But last minute I thought, may as well double check for the bonus accuracy points. After all, it's been ages since I item farmed. Yeah, so that took me 26 minutes and 50 seconds. 26 minutes and 50 seconds for 5 rocas and arrows, for an average time of 5 minutes and 22 seconds for each roca and arrow set, which is, well, I don't know, double what I thought it would be. Oh, and we're not even accounting for the time it takes to use those items yet, which took me a whole other 2 minutes and 15 seconds, which adds 27 seconds to each set for a total of 5 minutes and 49 seconds per roll. Accounting for item spawn rates being double during the weekend would take it down to 4 minutes and 34 seconds per roll, which doesn't sound as bad, but is still pretty ridiculous for a single roll. I thought maybe it was because I was in a private server, which was not only completely empty and completely fresh, but also, you know, a private server. They used to nerf item spawn rates in private servers, and I don't know if they ever removed it, but just to be sure, I decided to join the public server with the lowest possible players, which immediately filled to the brim with item-hungry Joes. Nonetheless, I stayed to conduct a retrial, for science and shit. Somehow I found 2 rib cages in the time it took me to pick up 5 arrows. I don't know what that's all about, but I'm hoping that luck comes through when I get to measuring rib cage rolls. Got snuffed out of an arrow by a man doing the same exact thing I was doing, at which point I strongly considered icing him, but he ran away too fast. And with all of the rocas I had just mukbanged prior, I was about as immobilized as Joe Biden in the middle of the stairway to heaven. Meanwhile, I used the money from the 2 rib cages I found alongside all the goddamn coins I kept finding to roll in the arcade, which, luckily enough, actually got me a roca. By the end of it, I was sure I had gotten a better time, so I hastened on to DaVinci Resolve to see my score. The data is in, folks. 14 minutes and 14 seconds, for an average of 2 minutes and 51 seconds per set, which is exactly in my estimation range of about 2 to 3 minutes. Definitely more satisfied with it. But wait, folks, it gets better, because when I was actually using the items, I realized the new dialogue Zuzu implemented literally just this morning at the time of writing makes it so that if you click at any time during the dialogue, it skips to the end immediately. Fucking amazing! For 2 years, I played this shit fest, and for 2 years, I've complained non-stop about how shitty grinding is in the game. With the quality of life changes like this and the skill tree autofill along with the hotbar save that I didn't even use in this run, my god, it's like living in the year fucking 2100. Except, being in a public server and what have you, I not only got frozen in time, but I also forgot I wasn't done halfway through and slipped up a little with the doing the skill tree before respawning, which in the end was not at all worth a dialogue time save and clocked me in at 2 minutes 28 for 5 rolls, 13 seconds worse than previous. But for the sake of my sanity and for yours, I'm just going to try formulating the data we have available instead of attempting another perfect run. Average the rolls out to 2 minutes and 20 seconds for 5 rocas and arrows, down to 28 seconds for every roll. Average the item farming between the 2 runs, public and private servers, to 4 minutes and 7 seconds per set of items, which, when accounting for double item spawns on weekends, boils back down to 3 minutes and 5 seconds. Adding the 28 seconds to use those items gets it to 3 minutes and 33 seconds, which I'm going to round, for simplicity, to our final estimate. 3 minutes and 30 seconds for every roll. Though still, that sounds a little bit on the higher end for me, so I decided to do a poll in my Discord server, join down below, to see what the Joes think. And the results are pretty surprising. It was split almost evenly, 33, 33, and 33, with the first third of Joes taking less than 1.5 minutes, the second third taking 1.5 to 2.5 minutes, and the third taking more than 3 minutes to find a set of both a roca and an arrow. Though I would say it's probably biased because people have a waning sense of time in these scenarios, so I'm just gonna adjust the average a little bit down to 3 minutes. And there's our final answer. And there you go! Our first section of the tier list is done, boys. Let's see it! Alright, I'm gonna sound the exact same right now because I'm recording this only 2 seconds after the last section of text, but I'm writing this about, 9 hours after the last section. Holy fucking shit, did things go rough. I thought, hey, can't be that hard. There's only, 80-something skins? Yeah, no. There's 114 now. And that doesn't sound so bad until you realize what I've been up to for the past 9 hours. Every single goddamn skin in this shitty game was put into this cursed fucking spreadsheet, and every single goddamn skin was assigned not only the stand it belonged to, but also the rarity it belonged to. The chance of obtaining that base stand, the chance of obtaining that rarity skin, and the chance of obtaining that specific skin from that rarity. If that sounds confusing, take, for example, Manga Crimson and Scarlet Queen. To obtain Manga Crimson, you'd first need to roll King Crimson, which is a 2.5% chance from a normal arrow. To obtain a skin for King Crimson, or any other stand for that matter, you need to roll that 1% chance. But to account for pity, I've increased that 1% up to a base 4% chance to roll a skin, or 1 in 25 odds. Except, that's not all. After that's all said and done, and you rolled not only the lucky 2.5% chance, but also the 4% chance embedded inside that 2.5% chance, you then need to roll for the specific rarity you're looking for, and in the case of Manga Crimson, that would be Uncommon, which is a 30% chance once you've already obtained a skin and the stand you want. But even then, you're not done because you, finally, need to account for other skins in that same exact stand and rarity bracket, because even if you roll the 2.5%, then the 4%, and finally the 30% chance for an uncommon, you can still get a different skin, e.g. Scarlet Queen, the second uncommon King Crimson skin, which means once you finally roll all those chances, you still need to stack on a coin flip. Heads for Manga Crimson, tails for Scarlet Queen. In other words, 50-50 odds. All in all, I spent a wonderful 4 hours typing up every single one of these chances in my lame-ass spreadsheet, and all I have to show for it is a tier list that values a fucking Nerf gun equally to one of the most powerful stands of any villain in JoJo's. Though, do bear in mind, that isn't a mistake. Because of all the new rarities, some shitty skins are unexpectedly rarer, in technicality, than some actually not terrible skins. For example, what I just said, a fucking Nerf gun and Vinegar Crimson. Since this Nerf gun you can buy at Walmart for $5, talk about value, is not only uncommon but shares the Six Pistols uncommon rarity with the OVA Emperor skin, they both rank equally to Vinegar Crimson, which is the only common skin for King Crimson. Which means, if you roll King Crimson and you roll the skin chance, there's a 60% chance you get Vinegar Crimson, whereas if you roll Six Pistols and you roll the skin chance, there's only a 15% chance you get the Nerf Jolt. You can observe the same phenomenon occurring with Hierophant Green's shitty recolors being valued higher than its not as shitty Eldritch Shiny. Because Hierophant has so many shitty recolors, each unique recolor is 3 times rarer than they would be without the other two. Meaning, when you roll a Hierophant Green skin, there's a 30% chance you roll Eldritch Green, since it's the only uncommon skin for Hierophant, and there's a 20% chance you roll any of the other skins, since the 60% common chance is divided into thirds equally by all 3 different recolors. Alas, the tier list critical flaw is how literally it takes rarities. When you're rolling for something you really want, like Luffy Gear 4, the rarities actually matter, because you're looking for that exact 1 in 83,000 chance to roll that specific skin. But when you roll something like Hierophant Piss unintentionally, it doesn't have any value in your eyes over Tentacle Purple or Tentacle Black. You aren't looking for that specific 1 in 3,000 odds, so it looks more like 1 in 1,000 when you can just combine them all. which is precisely what I'm gonna do, baby. Whoa! Alright, back again. Not really, because this is the same exact voice recording. You know what I mean. I'm writing this down after implementing rarity grouping, which basically means the chance to get the specific shiny is no longer there. It's just the chance to get the specific rarity of that shiny. Just like I said earlier, take Hierophant Piss. Instead of 1 in 3,000 odds to roll that specific recolor of Hierophant, now you have 1 in 1,000 odds to roll any of the 3 common Hierophant green skins. And to be honest, I'm not sure if I made it better or worse. Looking at the bottom of the tier list, you'd say at first, oh sick, he fixed all the shitty valuing. And then you look a little higher and, oh sick, he ruined everything. Misaka Mikoto, a shiny I've obtained 3 fucking times in 3 separate manhunts, to the point where it's a running joke, has slipped her way into A tier, while OVA Star Platinum sits solemnly down in C tier. And the reason for that is, with how Uzu's implemented shinies, the chances of rolling an uncommon Star Platinum shiny, e.g. OVA Platinum, is 3 times as likely as rolling an epic Red Hot Chili Peppers shiny, e.g. Misaka Mikoto. Uncommons sit at 30%, while epics sit all the way down at 8%. I mean, it's not a massive surprise, is it? Especially with how somehow RHCP is only a 0.5% more common than Star Platinum. It really just fucks over the whole economy lengthwise. But as ugly as this tier list looks, it's the reality at this point. It looks absolutely absurd, but that's just how rarities work, unfortunately. You'll just have to accept that some values have dropped tremendously for no reason, others spiked. And the only real way around it would be some sort of rarity rebalancing, but to be honest, I don't think anybody has the patience to redo the rarities for 114 different stands, let alone Uzu. Hey, don't shoot the messenger, I just work here. Though, you probably noticed by now through astute observation, this tier list is missing, I don't know, about 1/3 of all the shinies in the game. And if you have noticed, well, why don't you get off my ass, nerd? But yes, it was on purpose, I assure you, because I'm missing a few data points. See, you may have also noticed, Einstein, that all of these shinies are just arrow stands. And if you pay even closer attention, just really look even closer into the tier list. Just a little closer. Ah, nerd! Did you piss your pants? Did you cry? Shit a little maybe? No, I promise, that was for a reason. If you look close, you can actually see that I'm also missing unobtainable shinies. You see, as has been brought up before, many times about the Paragon tier list, it's all fine and dandy really, except for one small, minuscule detail. And that is that rarities are accounted for on skins that have never, ever had to deal with the whole rarities thing. Which leads to some stupid rankings, like for example, the World AU over Heaven being demoted pretty far all because it's a common rarity, when, you know, the rarity doesn't matter if you can't roll it anymore. To circumvent this issue, I'm going to be painstakingly calculating the true rarities for each and every one of these limited skins. Now you better watch the ad that's gonna play, I'll be right back! And here's the final result. Take a little look here before sending me my mother's maiden name and such. Now, to the astute observer, if you look real close in here. The One Piece is real! Gotcha again, nerd! Get fucked! But yeah, there's a major problem that anybody even slightly familiar with trading could notice nearly immediately, which is, oh wait, limiteds don't look very well limited. The higher you go up the tier list, the worse it gets. You've got Cursed Arrow, Elf Pistols, and Taikoizu Dragon rolling down in the deep, which isn't that unreasonable. And then you go up and you find all the King Crimson limited solely in B tier, the Waifu V1 lower than the Waifu V2 somehow, and holy shit, Jacko Platinum's being fucking meat sandwiched between the two waifus down in A tier like he was some sort of doujin protagonist. So here's the deal. For every limited stand, I'll be multiplying their time value by the ratio of the number of days skins have been available over the number of days they were available. For example, the Waifu V1 has been available up to July 1st, Meanwhile, skins in general have been available since late March of last year. Skins have been around for 498 days at the time of writing, which, since I'm lazy, I'm just gonna round to 500. The Waifu V1 was around for 41 days less than that, 41 days being the number of days since 1.0 released, so it's been around for 459 days. 500 divided by 459 yields a total of 1.09. So the Waifu V1 will be calculated as 9% more valuable than the other stands. Let's get to it. Alright, and I'm back again with terrible news. I may have made it worse again. Looking at this tier list is a little like looking at the North Tower on that fateful day. Down at the bottom, all the way up to like 40 floors to B tier, everything checks out just fine. And then you get to floor 80 and holy shit, is that a plane?! Yeah, Taikoizu Dragon snuck up into a low A tier, while Elf Pistols and the Funny Plane are simmering into the ranks of goddamn S tier. SS is just a complete mess. The Sumo Limiteds are somehow the best skins in the game now, while Jacko is just sitting below Frostbite and above Casper the Friendly Ghost, all because the Halloween event was a week longer than the Christmas event. To be frank, it made 0 sense. And so, it gave me an idea. Alright, for a quick explanation, I took the number of days it's been since the skin went unobtainable, divided it by 100, added 1, and took the previous amount of days it would have taken to obtain that stand and took it to the power of that number. So, Jacko Platinum, 41 days to roll on average. How long has it been since the Halloween event ended? 274 days. Take 274, divide by 100, add 1 for your 3.74 exponent. And now take 41 days to the power of 3.74 for your ridiculous value of 1,142,050 days. And again, the tier list is looking a lot like the World Trade Center. Looking at the very, very top, there ain't much damage, but on the 90th floor, there's just a massive fire, otherwise known as Elf Pistols. Cursed Arrows sitting in B tier, which is a little more reasonable but still concerning, and Taikoizu Dragons is sitting all the way down in F tier, which, even for how bad it is, I don't know if it's deserved considering it is a limited skin. So, after a little tweaking, here we are. At long last, I would say the final version of the tier list before we get into Ribcage and Evolved stands. And I gotta say, I'm pretty happy with it. Exponents are definitely the right way to go with limited stands. I don't know what Paragon was smoking when he made his list, but just adding points for limited stands kinda does them pretty dirty. So I stuck with the exponents, except I removed the +1 and rounded. The problem with the exponents being attached to a number of days is that for every day that passes, these shinies get ridiculously higher in value for no real reason, when in real life they kinda cap out in value eventually. So instead, the exponents are fixed to arbitrary numbers, 2.5 for Halloween shinies and 2.2 for Christmas shinies. Why? I don't know. Taikoizu is still down in F, but that's probably for the better anyways. Meanwhile, Cursed Arrows just above Arrow over Heaven as it should. Elf Pistols is sadly still higher than OVA Platinum, but still only in B tier, so I'll take it. And the actual limited shinies are standing comfortably at SS tier. It might be worth it to merge A and B tiers as they're both pretty underpopulated, but I'll be doing some tier tweaking later, so it should be fine for now. Now, on to the next big step. Except, holy shit, this script is already 6 pages long, and at the time of voice recording, I've already gone through 31 minutes, and doing all the ribcage and evolution measurements is gonna take me another 15 centuries. So, that's gonna be it for this video. Stay tuned for part 2, ranking ribcage and evolution shinies very, very soon. This is Handsy_boy, your local hardcore trader hater, signing off. Sayonara.